3%? You think I'm about to do all this hard work to get 3% of the deal? It makes no sense. I would never get my real estate license. Wholesaling gets a bad name, but wholesaling is the circle of life, right? Like that, wholesalers are the glue that helps the whole operation keep going. Today's video, we're going to talk about what is wholesaling real estate, how to wholesale real estate, and how to make money in real estate without needing a license, without needing any money, without having to actually buy a house, do any work, touch a property. None of that. Make sure you guys like this video, help it boost the algorithm, get this out to as many people as possible. Let's get into it for today. We're making this series. We wanted to actually rewind. A lot of the people who have been following me, a lot of people in the dog pound actually are doing deals, right? We're actually actively doing real estate, and they know a lot of the main terminology. But I do have another group of people who are reaching out to me every single day, and they're getting lost and they're getting caught behind because they don't understand none of the terminology. So we want to go back to the basics. Hey, Nick, that's what we're going to call this section, back to the basics, right? Where we're going to go over the fundamentals of real estate in general, and what better way to start, where I recommend all beginners to start, which is wholesaling real estate. Cash, you don't need it. Credit, you don't need it. Real estate license, you don't need it. All you need is time and the will to go get it, right? So what is wholesaling real estate? Wholesaling real estate is the act of selling paper. We're selling contracts. We're flipping contracts. So it's very simple. You find a distressed seller. You find somebody going through a distressed situation. Notice I didn't say distressed house. It could be a distressed house, right? So it's either a distressed house or a distressed situation. We identify that person, we find them, and we negotiate a contract. We say, hey, Mr. Seller, this is a great house. I would love to buy this for $100,000. Now, notice I offered $100,000 because after the property is all fixed up, renovated, brought up to 2023 standards, it looks brand new. Somebody would want to move into this. They would move their family into it. It's worth about $200,000, right? So I need to buy this. I need to get it under contract at a price where it makes sense to where somebody can come in, do renovations, pay closing costs, fix the house up, make it all pretty, and then sell it to somebody else and then make some money on the back end, right? Now you're maybe asking, Daryl, you just said I don't need any money. I don't need any experience. How am I going to do all this work? I never say you're going to do all the work. We are the middlemen, right? That is, when you look up the definition of wholesale, that's pretty much what it is. It's a middleman, right? We get a property under contract. You get that A contract, we get it under contract, and then we sell it. We sell that same contract to our end buyer who's going to come in. They have the money to do the renovation. They have the experience. They have the teams. They have the crews. They have the time to do the flip, right? So we find a seller in a distressed situation. We solve their problem by connecting them with a buyer who has the funds, who has the time, the resources to do the flip, make the house all pretty, and sell it on the market, right? So let's say, okay, I got that house for $100,000 under contract. I brought my buyer, let's call him Bill the buyer. We brought him to the table, and he bought this contract for me for $120,000. So what does that mean? I bought it for $100,000. I sold it for $120,000. There's a $20,000 spread in that middle. That all comes to me, baby. That's what we call an assignment fee. The whole idea is we agree to a price with the seller, and the buyer comes with the money. So that $100,000 we promised the seller, that will be paid by our buyer. We also get paid from the buyer. So the buyer comes in and he pays everybody. Now, why is he okay with paying everybody? Because you as the wholesaler, you negotiated this deal so well that the seller made money and the buyer was also able to make money after he fixed it up and sold it on the market. Right? So it's truly a win-win-win transaction. You win because you make your assignment fee. The seller wins because they get their money for walking away. The buyer wins because he gets another property, he or she gets another property that they get to flip. And then there's another win because there's a family who gets to move into this house. So wholesaling gets a bad name, but wholesaling is the circle of life, right? Like that, wholesalers are the glue that helps the whole operation keep going, because without it, how are these homeowners going to be connected with buyers? Buyers don't have time to call homeowners and solve their problems. Buyers have enough problems on their hands because they're actually doing these flips, right? So if you guys are watching and you don't even want to get into real estate, just know when you guys are getting calls from people all day wanting to buy your house, they're not the actual buyers. These guys are the wholesalers who are looking to connect with the buyers. All right, so let's do a quick recap. So step number 1, we need to find a distressed seller. Step number 2 is we need to get the seller on the phone and negotiate a contract with them. We need to get this at least 50% of what the house is worth after it's all fixed up. So we get a contract with the seller and we sell that contract. We then sell that contract to a buyer who's going to come in, do the flip, pay the seller, and pay us an assignment fee, right? So once we have those 2 contracts, we send everything to the title company. Now, what's the title company? The title company is the third-party company that makes sure the transaction actually goes the right way. Now, we can close deals without a title company, but it is very preferred and recommended to deal with the title company who handles the money. They make sure that there's no liens on the property. They make sure that the property the person that we're speaking to is actually the owner of the property, and there's no funny business going on in the background. And they make sure everybody gets paid. So the buyer doesn't actually pay you directly or pay the seller directly. He pays the title company, and the title company sends the money out to everybody, right? The title company also produces a receipt. They give everybody a receipt that's called a HUD. We can actually look at these HUDs. They look like this. This is a HUD. This is a receipt from doing a deal. And it shows who gets paid, how much they got paid, what companies get paid, and all that. You get a seller on the contract. We sell that contract to a buyer. We take the contracts to the title company, and the title company will schedule a closing date between the buyer and the seller. Once the buyer and the seller both close, the funds will be wired to the title company, and the title company will then wire the funds to all the parties. So I know we may have went kind of fast. We talked about a lot. So if you have any questions, make sure you comment those questions below. We'll make sure to answer them either in a video or in a Discord. We may even make a short. Make sure you guys are checking out the shorts tab as well, where we're making shorter form content, because I know a lot of times we may be on our lunch break, we may be busy. You want to get some sauce and you may just only got 30 seconds. So we got y'all. So make sure you guys are hitting that tab. Like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let's get this video to 50 likes. And I'll catch y'all in the Dog Pound Discord. Make sure you guys hit that link in the description below. I'll see y'all in there. Peace.
I'm in a whip, so I gotta zoom. They tryna talk, they not in a room. I've been so real, I'm dead to the tomb. They in the way, they gotta move. I got a gas.